TYT investigative reporter Michael Tracy got his hands on a fascinating memo drafted by top Democratic officials. And it's very telling as to what their priorities are. So the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee sent a letter to 2018 House candidates. And in the letter, they say campaigns must, quote, not engage in tactics that do harm to our chances of winning a general election. What? So, why would top Democratic officials send a letter saying, basically, you can't really attack your opponents? Why would they do that? Now, the reason that they're giving, the surface reason is, well, come on, we don't want to maybe lose the general election, so we got to unite against the Republicans. That's the idea. We got to fight the big bad Republicans. But you're having a primary. The whole point is to try to determine which candidate Democrats want to represent them against the Republican. You're going to have to compare and contrast. That's the whole nature of the system. That's what the primaries are about. So what they're saying is, don't engage in tactics to harm our chances of winning the general election. What that says to me is, hey, look, if you have a shitty, corporate Democrat who's in favor of TPP and was for Wall Street deregulation and, who's weak on issues that are populist left defining issues, let it slide because you don't want to, quote, engage in tactics that do harm to our chances of winning a general election. They say candidates also must, quote, hold a unity event with their primary opponents following a primary. Now, again, how can you say that up front? So if one candidate defeats another candidate, and let's say they disagree on everything, let's say you have a Bernie Sanders-style candidate versus a Joe Manchin-style candidate, you're gonna force the one who loses to fall in line behind the one who wins. And guess what? The DCCC, what they do is they back the candidates who are the more establishment candidates, so they have every expectation that that candidate wins. And then if that candidate wins, presumably because they have way more money than the upstart candidate, than the populist candidate, well, then they're going to say, look, you have to fall in line. You signed an agreement. And they make them sign an agreement, by the way. That's what this is. By the way, if you flip the script, if the populist candidate wins, watch how quickly they abandon this. And they'll say, nope. I mean, look, it happened already. What was his name? I think his name was Lee Carter. And he was running for a state seat in Virginia, I believe it was. And he got no help from the Democratic Party because he said, the Democrats in our state are beholden to the energy company. And I'm a populist candidate, and here's what I'm in favor of. I'm in favor of getting money out of the system, and you go down the list. He's in favor of Medicare for all system. So Democrats are like, we're not going to back this guy. He has no chance of winning because he's too far left. And then he won. He won a seat that was a safe Republican seat. So, the Democrats don't take their own advice. Oh, here's the guy who's running against the Republican, but we think he's too far left. We're not going to unite. We're not going to be on his side. So when they say this, what they're expecting is every establishment candidate wins, and then they want to force the populist candidate to fall in line and help the establishment candidate. That's what they want. And guess what? If you don't do it, you get no help. Look at that slimy ass trick. So what they're saying is you can engage in tactics that do harm to our chances of winning a general election. So don't attack your corporate opponent. And if you do attack your corporate opponent, well, then you get no help from the DCCC. You get no people who know how to dot the I's and cross the T's when it comes to campaign activity. This is what's happening. So, and then they turn around later and say, why didn't progressives fall in line for the establishment candidate? Because you spit in our eye and slapped us across the face and said, we're not interested in actual left-wing ideas. We want the same old status quo bullshit that keeps everything business as usual. So, and again, this is the part that frustrates me more than anything. Notice, the onus is always on you, if you're populist left, to fall in line and unify behind shitty establishment ideas. The onus is never on them. We could show them all the polls that say Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America. He's the most popular senator when you go to the respective states and you ask people, hey, what do you think of your senator? He wins when you do it that way. He wins when you just ask the most popular politician. So here you have a guy, I mean, the logical thing to do for the Democrats would be, okay, look at where he falls on all the issues. That's our new platform. But they don't do that. So they refuse to unify behind ideas that are proven winners. And then they scream at you to unify behind ideas that are proven failures. The game is rigged. The game is rigged up front. These are all their weasel words and their clever little tricks to try to keep business as usual going, keep the status quo as it is, and they're handcuffing them in the primaries. It really is stunning how, and they'll always move the goalposts too. That's their other trick. So when it's during a general election, they'll tell you, listen, you have to suck it up and vote for the establishment candidate because that's the only one left. It's an establishment Democrat versus a Republican. What are you going to do? You're handcuffed. You have to vote for the establishment Democrat. But then they'll tell you, but listen, if you don't like that fact, primary people. And then when we announce we're going to primary, they go, I can't believe you're primarying. This is fucking, so I guess you don't believe in unity. I guess, you want to rip apart the Democratic Party in a civil war. But wait, when it was a general election, you said, hey, the next election cycle, primary if you don't like the establishment candidate. That's what we're doing. And now you turn around and yell at us for doing that too. Like, there's no winning with these people. And notice, they will bend over backwards to avoid talking about policy. Because you'll find that all the criticisms against the establishment corporate candidates, when you dig deep, all the people will say, well, listen, the reason why I'm hesitant to support this person is because they're too hawkish on foreign policy and they're too cozy with big money interests and they're not in favor of Medicare for all. They will come up with every fucking excuse and do mental gymnastics to the hilt to try to dodge talking about policy and say, well, yeah, but this is, it's time to make sure that we come together and put hope on the ballot and lead with our values and make sure we defeat the Republicans. And now we know, because Michael Tracy uncovered it for TYT. Now we know, because they send out fucking letters laying it out. From the beginning, they're trying to kneecap progressives, populist left fighters who really care and who are really fighting for important issues. Listen, at Justice Democrats, we've experienced this firsthand. When it came to getting the email lists, that if you run as a Democrat, it's easier than if you run as a third-party candidate, because running as a third-party candidate, I mean, you want to talk about rigged. It's as rigged as it gets against third-party candidates. I mean, ballot access is a huge issue in and of itself, so you can't even get your fucking foot in the door. But if you run as a Democrat, the idea is, oh, okay, well, now you get the Democratic Party apparatus to help you because you're running as a Democrat. Well, they look at you and they go, no, that one actually is too populist, so we're not sure we're going to back that one. Oh, sorry. No, you can't have access to the list that other Democrats will get access to. So the same way that the DNC, lied to people and said, oh, no, we're neutral in the primary fight. And then they were rigging everything in favor of Hillary Clinton to the point where Hillary Clinton would literally get, before the DNC even released a statement on anything, it would have to be approved by the Clinton campaign. Well, now you see that this is exactly what's going on with the other corporate candidates across the country, which is why they're sending out a memo saying, hey, listen, don't engage in tactics that do harm to our chances of winning a general election. So in other words, when a Justice Democrat candidate points out corporate Joe Manchin is taking big money out the wazoo, he doesn't care about people in West Virginia. He doesn't care about them. They go, oh, you're harming our chances of winning a general election. So now we're going to take all the funds from you, and we're going to make sure you don't get any help on the ground because Paula Jean Swearingen, her attacks cut a little too deep. Hey, she pointed out that Joe Manchin votes with Trump a majority of the time. Sorry, that's going to hurt our general election chances by you pointing out a fact. So now we're going to pull any and all support we were giving you. And, oh yeah, by the way, you have to sign this. Put it on paper so we can hold you to it. And then you wonder why Democrats lose. Because from minute one, you said, oh, let's find a way to try to bias the process in favor of the shittier candidate. And yes, you can blame these people for the Republicans winning across the country. You absolutely can. And the hilarious thing is they turn around and blame you because they go, you didn't fall in line and vote for the shittier candidate. Well, you propped up the shittier candidate. It's your fault. You started it all. If you didn't prop up the shittier candidate, maybe the better candidate would have won, and then they would have cakewalked to victory in the general election. So they demand on having a shitty, corporatist, neoliberal version of the Democratic Party, and then they whine and cry and bitch and moan when that party loses. But we told you that party was going to lose. And then you turn around and blame us when we're the ones giving you the solution. We're here, look, take your medicine. This is the direction the Democrats need to go in. These are the ideas and the policies they need to run on. Let's be serious now. Do you want to actually defeat the Republicans? You go, no, we're going to be neoliberal and corporate and do the same thing that lost us 1,000 seats under Obama. And then you lose, and then they'll turn around and go, why didn't we win? We told you what you could have done to win. So they blame you for Trump when they're responsible for Trump. They blame you for the Republicans when they're responsible for the Republicans. Only in politics do you get a situation where the entire stable of strategists are proven failures for a decade, but they all still have jobs. And they all still insist that they should be in control of determining the direction of the party. I mean, this is like a fucking plumber coming over your house because you got a problem with your pipes. And then, in the midst of fixing it, your toilet blows up and there's a geyser of water flooding your bathroom. And then they go, no, don't worry, it's all good. I'm going to still fix this. Wait, you just caused the problem. I just had a clog in the pipes and now there's fucking geyser in my bathroom and my house is flooding. Yeah, but don't worry. I mean, don't just go. What would you say? I think I'm going to call this other plumbing company. I'm going to call them now. No, don't worry about them. We got this. You caused the fucking geyser. What are you talking about? You got this. I'm going to call the other plumbers. Nope. No, I don't. Lock the door. I'm going to take care of this. That's all the Democratic strategists. Proven failures time and time again. Weak on messaging. Big on corporate cash. And they're so far up their own asses that they scoff at even the idea that, hey, maybe it's a good idea to not take corporate cash and to raise in small dollar donations from a lot of people. They'll laugh at you. They'll think, oh, come on. Caring about the people and trying to represent them? That's a good one. Where's the phone? I gotta call Goldman Sachs. We warned you. We warned you. We warned you. We warned you. You're gonna make your bed, and then you're gonna sleep in it, and then you're gonna turn around and blame us again. Well, we say fuck no.